Within the earth, from waters blue, fairies are whispering to me and to you.
Hello there, hello there, hello there, hello there.
I'm Claire Casely, the fairy whisperer. In the air of sylvan nights, we'll find our way by fairy light. Fairies whisper throughout the land. It's time to walk hand in hand. To catch a fairy whisper, you have to listen closely. Listen with me. Hello, welcome to the Fairy Whispering Podcast. I'm Claire Casely, your host, and with me today is Dawn Ceirw from Glastonbury, and Dawn is an earth keeper. Welcome, Dawn.
Hey, welcome. It's lovely to be here.
Yeah, it's lovely to have you on, and I'm really excited to hear about your work with the fairies, which I've experienced. Recently, I came up to Glastonbury in May, didn't I? And
Yeah, we had a really lovely time.
oh, it was beautiful. So Dawn does these amazing walks through the landscape and introduces you to fairy and fairy connection. Yeah, it's beautiful. So, Dawn, where would you like to start talking about your fairy connection and your work? That's right.
Lots of people ask if I was connected to fairies from childhood, because many people are.
Mm.
And I have to say no. I was not. I felt that I was different as a child, but not really seeing fairies and all that as a child. So it started later in my 20s. And then, so what I really wanted, I really felt like there is something more to the world, and there's like something deeper that I'm not quite managing to tap into, to that whole beauty of the world and how, and I could feel that, but I couldn't really put my finger on it or really communicate with that sense of like harmony and beauty. And so I went to uni and I studied physics, which was apparently not the right way to connect to. I thought it will help me connect to the world, but it wasn't. It wasn't the best way, and at some point I felt like it's too much in the mind, and it's not really. I wanted a physical connection, a sensuous connection, something that I can really feel with my heart rather than my mind. So I stopped studying physics. It was when I noticed that I'm starting to walk barefoot on campus and sit under the trees and commune with the trees, then I realized that I'm just finding another path to feel that connection. And I think that's when I started looking into other ways. And yeah, that's around my 20s. So I started studying earth-based spirituality and shamanism and all these more animistic ways or perspectives on the world. And then there was a lot of just self-exploration and just going out and communing with. It started with the trees because I had no idea about fairies, but then at some point they presented themselves and it went up from there.
And what were your earliest connections with fairies as you were, started to work with trees? What started to happen for you?
I think it was. So I think the first time I saw the fae, it was night, and I was with a friend, and we were walking towards a forest, and we were both trying to sense the energy to really kind of be very respectful. And I think that was key then,
Mm-hmm.
because I think that's when the Fae thought, okay, this one has potential because he's trying to be respectful. Um, so we were trying, and I could feel, and he wanted to go straight into the forest, and it was a full moon, and I could feel like the forest as a kind of as a very dark, sleepy entity, and I didn't feel right to kind of step into there. And I said, look, I'm feeling here that there's like a block or a gate or some sort. And so we stood there for a bit, thinking, trying to sense if that's a gate that wants to open for us, if that's a gate that we shouldn't be going through. And I think it asked us something, I forgot what, but we needed to do something. Either to declare our purpose, I don't remember, which is ridiculous because it's a very important story, but I don't remember what the gate
That's
asked us.
fine.
But
Mm-hmm.
there was something that we were needing to kind of express
Yes.
in terms of honoring the land. And then we felt it open. And then
Mm.
we kind of validated it among them, like, oh, I feel this open. And he also felt it open. So we went into the forest. And immediately it didn't feel like a regular forest. We could feel immediately that there was this magic in the air. Everything was slightly not real, slightly not realistic. And now I know that we just stepped into a different layer of reality. So like into fairy, some people say sometimes. So we were walking there, and then under the trees, because we were so with this heightened perception, because we were trying to be very respectful, I was looking around with this like new sort of new seeing, new sense of or sensing. And then I saw them under the tree. So I saw some tall figures under the tree, and they were calling us. And that was the first time that I saw the Fae. And we went there, and I could see that they raised something and they put it on the head of my friend. And I said, I think they put a crown on your head. And he said, I feel it's like deer antlers.
Oh.
So I looked, and it did look like an antlered crown.
Mm-hmm.
And then I look at my friend, and I can see his eyes were changing a little bit. And he kind of, before he was very confused, you know, and a little hesitant and following me. And then as they put this crown on him, he stood taller somehow, and his eyes were like more, he had a deep look in his eyes, and he knew suddenly where to go. And he turned around and he said, we need to go that way. And as I'm looking to where he's pointing, I can see that the full moon is creating this path. Like, you know how sometimes the full moon in the
Yes.
forest, in the trees, there's a path of moonlight.
Yes.
And this was completely in the physical. We are just feeling,
Mm-hmm.
and not the antlered crown. The antlered crown was energetic, but we're looking at, and so we follow that path of moonlight, and it led us to a really tiny glen, like a little opening in the woods where we felt we need to sit down. And then we sat down and kind of connected to them more deeply. And then some things happened with them, but that was very beautiful, and one of the most magical experiences.
Yes.
And as part of that experience, with this, in this forest, these same Fae, later, after I worked with them for a while, they said that a part of my sole purpose is to be an ambassador to the Fae. So a person who's
Mhm.
in with the humans, but also with the Fae, and does this work like you do
Mhm.
to connect the two realms. So that was, yeah, that was the first time.
So this sounds like, would you say that it's an initiation?
Obviously, yeah,
Yes.
I think so. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
Did did anything change in your life after that, or was your life changing anyway at that time? Was it a transitory
Uh,
sort of time for you?
I think it opened, it changed, yes. Well, the first thing that changed was my perspective and my worldview. Suddenly, there were these other beings, and then I was opening to more types of beings, and because everything is possible now. So,
Yes.
so I was
Yeah.
speaking with the souls of mountains and with dragons, and we all kind of different magical beings as well. And definitely my whole life changed. And then
Mm.
I was called to Avalon. I was called to Glastonbury
Mm. I'd
and to
love.
be an earthkeeper here. Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, Dawn. I'm just going to say I'd love to hear about that calling to Glastonbury because it's such a powerful place. And when you were talking about your friend being crowned,
Hmm.
I was thinking of Pan. Do you think that was related to Pan or?
Well,
Um,
the antlered, so the horned god or the horned one
mm,
is the way I work with him, and he has different faces and different names in different
mm,
countries,
mm,
is the
mm,
masculine essence of the wild, of the green. And so and also he's called the king in the wild, or the animal king. So there's different different mythological figures who were the antlered god, like
mm,
Nunos, Herne the Hunter, Pan in the Mediterranean. So yes, I do think that there was more. The reason I'm not getting into that specific
yes,
experience because it was mainly his initiation, and I don't want
sure.
to.
Yeah.
It was quite personal with around what he is and the way
Mm,
he was crowned into his power and his sole purpose and his inner sovereignty. So that was beautiful, beautiful. But I was just helping there. So I was just
mm. Incredible. Incredible to help somebody with that, isn't it? Very rewarding that you're able to open that doorway into fairy, into the other world, and a new perspective.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's, funnily enough, this is actually what I'm doing. Here the last few years. So what happens in these walks is that the people go through their initiation, and I help facilitate, or I help open a door, or I help them stay calm, not panic.
Yes.
But and sometimes translate what is happening, or what the Fae are saying, or what needs to happen. So I didn't realize it then, because then I thought I just happened to accompany him on this
Mm,
initiation, but actually I was a part of it. My presence was doing something that I was helping to bridge that gap between the human and the Fae.
mm.
And then later I learned to really step into that role and help facilitate with these initiation walks. So yeah.
And what was your initiation, Dawn? Did you have a feel that you had an initiation into fairy? Is it something that was very gentle, or was there one specific thing that happened?
So many. So there's like
Yeah.
almost every time I'm with them, there's something that is happening and
Mm,
a gift that I'm receiving, or
mm,
um, a sometimes it kind of looks like, I won't say a gift, but like an artifact of power that is a fae artifact that is either
yes.
given to me or put on my head or something.
Mm, mm-hmm,
So there has there have been many
mm, mm-hmm.
experiences like that through the years, which I'm so very grateful for.
Mm.
Um,
Yes,
one
I
that is very important. Oh, sorry.
no, that's fine. Sorry, you carry on. I'll
One that
pause.
is
Mm,
kind of yeah, the one that I think is very important is actually happened when I was at work.
oh,
I was, that's really funny because it happened after a few initiations, one with the dragons and different things.
mm,
And then I was, at the time, I was a shopkeeper, so I was in the shop. There was no one in the shop. And then I felt like I'm being taken under the door. I love that you have the picture of the door
mm,
behind the foot, door behind you. So I was taken under the door, and there was the council of all beings. So there were fae beings and she beings, and an animal and tree beings and all kinds of unicorn, all the many different beings. It was a council of all beings, and then they let me see the water that runs through the central axis of the tour that is water but also energy. So it's an energetic pillar of what I feel as water.
wow.
But it's
Yeah.
magic. It's the magic of this land that
Mm,
runs like water through there. And they put my hands in that magic. And they said that I am a Sirani of the land. And I said, okay, but what is that?
I love that word. Yes.
And I'm not pronouncing it right.
Mm,
She told it to me, and then they said that it's not exactly how it's pronounced. So I'm
mm.
probably not using it right, but it sounded like Sirani,
Irani. Mm,
Sirani. And a Sirani of the land translates to a woman who holds the land, and what it is or what it used to be. So there used to be this role for every stretch of land, for every part. For every land, there will be a woman and a man,
mm,
and they will hold the connection between the human field and the magical field of the land. And the woman will hold the feminine side, and the man will hold the masculine side. And so the Sirani has the role of both bringing the land to the people,
mm-hmm,
but also bringing the whole of the human message and the human needs and what's happening with the human tribe, bringing it to the land and saying, this is it, what's happening with us. This is what we need at the moment. This is what we can give at the moment. And there's like this beautiful reciprocity between the humans and the magic and the land. So this used to be what a Sirani would do.
mm-hmm. That's beautiful. Beautifully described. And I obviously I resonate with that description. But it's a really eloquent way of describing this work. You know, your work. It's yeah, which I've witnessed. I feel very honoured to
But we were doing work
that time.
together. You
Yeah.
were, I mean, I think this is, many people have this memory of maybe being a Sirani of the land. Or, of course, lots of people have the memory of being a magical being themselves,
Mm.
big ones. And this is mainly what happens in these walks. We discover more about our magical lineage and what we are, what is our magical self.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
And there's lots of it's a bit difficult to explain because I always started with, we're doing these walks for the land and we're doing it to reacquaint ourselves with the land and to honor the land and to heal the land. And then slowly through the years, the Fae kept saying, well, actually, we're doing these walks so the humans can heal, because the most wounded thing on this planet is the humans.
Mm-hmm.
So the most important thing is actually we need the humans to heal, and we need you to remember your whole self. Because we as humans, we also have frequencies in the magical realms, which
Mm-hmm.
is our magic part. And we're not whole without integrating these.
Mm.
So I think a big
Yes.
part of what is happening in these walks is that we just come to know ourselves better and
Mm.
our magical selves. Yeah.
Ah, that's such a beautiful way to work with people, because I think there is a longing, isn't there? And there's more and more of
So
us
much,
longing
so much.
to, and perhaps some people don't even know what they're longing for. Um, but some people that, the people that you're working with that are called to work with you, they're realizing that there's something that
And
you
it
can
will be
offer.
people who, many of them have felt, they haven't felt that they belong, and
Mm.
they've been feeling lonely all their lives, and they've been feeling different all their lives, and they miss something that they don't quite know what it is. And then we go
Yes.
into fairy, or we go into where they are. Not all of them, that's their connection. So we sometimes need, some of them are really connected to dragons, some of them connected to different beings, and even beings that I can't even name
Mm.
because I don't know them. But this person, this is their frequency, this is who they are. And then we
Mm.
call this family, this larger family, this original family, back, and then the person can feel home again. And this is beautiful
Mm.
to witness, and really humbling
Mm.
to see people find that again, find that homecoming, that original self again. So yeah, really.
Yeah, amazing. I'd love to hear about your calling to Avalon. I think it's something we spoke about, but it'd be wonderful if you could
Um, this was before I
share
was.
about it. Mm.
It was not particularly fairy related. I came to Avalon in 2006 as part of a trip to England, and I kept being brought back to Glastonbury. So we had a little rented car, and we'll go around stone circles and then say, let's go back to Glastonbury. And then we'll go volunteer in a farm and go, let's go back to Glastonbury. So the whole trip we were going back and going back. And I was sitting here, and I remember receiving this message that I need to take the spirit of this land, the lady of Avalon, or the lady of the land. I need to take her back to the place that I live in. And I thought, well, that's quite difficult because at the time I was living in Israel, which is not very there's a lot of religious stuff, and it's not the best place to start introducing earth-based spirituality and the divine feminine. But she asked, and so I went there and I did a course for earth-based spirituality and learning to work with the land as a being, and the horned one in the green, the man in the green, so all of that. And then we ran the course for a while, and then I felt I need to go back. And when I came back the second time, she said, "Now you come here and you stay here."
Mm.
And that was quite a big thing for me, to move to a different country.
Yes.
But then I was walking up the high street, and then a lady came down the high street, a lady I don't know. And I was just thinking, it's really big, and what is this, a real message? Am I imagining it? And this lady stops me, and she said, "You know what? I just saw you going up the high street pushing a baby buggy. I just saw a
Mm.
vision of you walking
Oh
up the
my
high street
gosh.
pushing a baby buggy."
Yeah.
And that's how I knew that my boy is going to be born in Glastonbury. So,
I've got
yeah,
chills.
yeah.
That's amazing.
And so we flew back, and we said we're not going to stay another summer in Israel. We're just going to move to England and live in Glastonbury, and this is how it happened.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is such an incredible life change and so inspiring as well that you followed that call, that you felt it so strongly and you just knew and just did it. It's
It,
really inspiring.
I'm still surprised because, but to be honest, I really felt like that whole year since that since I agreed to move, I just felt
Mm,
guided, and like there was someone, putting wind in my sail through the whole year, and the visa and all that complications, moving house, all that thing, just it just all happened really quickly, really with ease. I was floating
mm,
through the whole process. And
mm.
as I landed here, I was like, okay, now we start. So yeah, and then we went to the after a year we were looking for a house, and also we got it by a miracle. We just went to the Eggstone on the tour, and we asked for a house. And the
Mm.
day after, we found the house we wanted. So a lot of miracles in my life. I'm very, very, very blessed.
It's amazing. It just shows the power of intention and following that thread, that
Yeah,
pathway. Yes.
I
Yes,
think
I've
when
definitely.
you are sorry.
No, I was just going to say I definitely found that with the fairy path.
Yes,
It's just a knowing, isn't it? And if you trust, then you'll be taken to where you're meant to be.
I think that's
Mm,
that's the main. When you are allowing yourself to walk your soul path, then the doors open and things happen and miracles happen. And it's that courage, isn't it, to just take the step and say, yes, I believe this message. I believe that this is my soul path. So yeah, it takes.
yes. And you were talking about working with fairy courts, Dawn. I know that's something that you s- like,
Yeah,
you focus on as part of your fairy work. So I'd love to know more about, for anyone that's not heard of fairy courts
yeah.
and what they are and what they do. It'd be great to hear a bit about them.
Brilliant. I'll talk
Yeah.
about it. So fairy courts. Oh, they're so happy now that I'm talking. I can feel the court, and Twin Court is one of the courts I'm working with, and I can feel them there. So a fairy court is a place where fairies live, and when I say fairies, I mean the ones that look a bit like elves, like Tolkien's elves. So this type of humanoid, slightly taller, is this type of beings.
Mhm.
Of course, there's lots of other smaller beings that we also call fairies, but just to say that these are the ones I talk about. They call themselves the Fae, and they are responsible for the maintenance of the energetic tapestries of the land. So
Right.
they work with the vitality of the land and how it flows to where it needs to go so that all the plants grow, and have enough energy to grow, and also that there is harmony and all the plants are exactly where they need to be. So it's like a puzzle.
Mhm. Mm.
So they're in their realm, in the stretch of land that they are responsible for, everything is harmonious and everything is thriving and is in the right time. It flourishes, then it wilts in the right cycles. So they're responsible for that. So basically, a fairy court is a group of fairies, a group of the fae who are responsible for a specific part of the land. And the court itself is a place, and this is where they gather and where they live, or it's that kind of the place where, yeah, I would say they live, they reside. I don't know. And so, yeah, so sometimes they can find several courts on the same land, but then mostly they will have different roles, or they
Mm.
will be responsible for different places. So, like on Fairy Hill, which is now it's called Chalice Hill here in
Mhm.
Glastonbury, I know of at least 4 different fairy courts in 4 different places on the hill, but they have really different jobs. So
Mm.
one is responsible for the water, and one is responsible for like the inner vitality of the hill and working with the deep earth dragon of the hill and all that inner down stuff. And then there's another court that is responsible for the more up frequencies and how the light interacts with the green and all that sort of lighter, airy workings of the land. So they are, and then there's one that is on the top of the hill, and that's like the main court of Fae on the hill. So there can be many in a small part of the land.
Mm.
Specifically, Fairy Hill is called Fairy Hill because there's so it's like the main, it's the capital of the Fae here in
Mm.
Avalon. Yeah, so fairy, and there's lots of myth around fairy courts and fairy circles and how you shouldn't or you should go into them, and how you shouldn't or you should receive the food and drink that you're offered and all that.
Yes.
I just know that I always ask. I mean, this is like, going into someone's house. I always ask if they're ready for me. And if so, how can I help?
Mm.
How can I honor them? They sometimes, there was twice that they kind of called us in because there was a celebration. One was a naming of a baby Faye. I didn't know they had babies, but
Oh,
apparently there was and we were invited to stand in circle with them while they were celebrating
oh, that's
this
beautiful.
beautiful
Mm.
baby. And there were lots of times when I was invited, and lots of times when I was told, not now, we're doing something that is not, that the energy of a human can disrupt. And it's
Mm.
not because I'm not loving and they don't love me, it's just because we hold quite rough energetic signatures that are a lot denser and rougher than the Fae
Mm.
energy. So just if we go into one of their very, very subtle and delicate and intricate workings, we might create a disruption. So that's
Mm. Is
so
that
that's what I think.
when, in your opinion, is that when we feel that unwelcome feeling, or that
Yeah,
there's a big
always, always, always.
difference? Yeah.
Um, I I never felt like unwelcome. I did feel like because I always stop. I mean,
Mm.
we don't tend to stop, don't we? Do we? Like we don't
No.
tend to. We tend to go right in,
Mm.
and I think this is the main thing that's different with people that I walk with. They are not used to stopping. We stop every few steps to feel into the gates and
Mm.
see where we are called to go. Is the gate open? And what do we need to change in our energy body so that we are adjusting to the tapestry of the land, so we're not creating a big disturbance in the land.
Mm.
So we do that and when we do that gradually, there's no reason to feel unwelcome. So if we do that gradually and we're going where we are called to go, then
Mm.
I didn't feel unwelcome. I think there was maybe one time when I was not called to go there, but I thought that was when I still thought I can plan these walks. No.
Mm.
So I
Yes.
thought, oh, we'll go this way and then we'll go through the fairy lane and do a process in the fairy lane. And I was taking a group, it was a big group, and I stopped at the gate to the fairy lane, and there was a Fey Lord there, and he said, you can't go through here. And I said, well, look, I made a plan, and we need to go to the middle of the lane and do a process. And this is where we still hold our human entitlement.
Mm.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
why do I even think that I can go into a fairy lane, which is the house, the home of Fae? And I already planned that I'm going to go there and do what I want to do there. So he had to show me, reflect to me that I was not being considerate, and I was still thinking like a human who owns the land rather than
Yes.
a being who cohabited, who cohabit,
Mm.
habits, cohabits with
Yes.
the other beings of the land. And he said, no, I mean, we are doing a very delicate process right
Mm.
now, and we can't have a group of humans on this lane right now. And so, but it wasn't like an unwelcome. He was just blocking my way and saying, no, you can't go. You can't walk this way.
Yeah. No, I love that way of working that when you took me on the walk back in May, and it was just very, like you say, just stopping, pausing, sensing into what was there energetically before moving on.
Mm.
And then once we came out of, I think it was Fairy Hill we went to,
We went
wasn't
to
it?
Fairy Hill, yeah.
Yes. And when we came down to, there was like a gateway, wasn't there, as we were stepping back onto the main road. And it was like just this total, I just noticed this total shift in awareness. It was like going, literally walking through that gateway from fairy
Yeah.
into the mundane human world again. It was incredible. Hmm.
And this is why it's important because, and the the deeper and more sacred the level of reality we need to get to, the more gates we're going to see because we need to adjust gradually to the very different energy because we come with in our field, we come with technology, we come with what we ate for supper, we come with a lot of artificial energies, we come with a lot of roughness, we come with all our shields, so much. And,
Mm.
and of course, that with this mess in our field, when first we're not able to sense the subtle frequencies, but also we're gonna be disruptive, and we can't go into these parts of reality with these rough frequencies. We need to go with our
Mm.
subtle bodies, with the frequencies that match the place we're going to. So gates are one of the ways where we do like frequency matching. We release what we don't want to bring with us, and we come in with the frequencies that actually match the land and the layer of the land that we're called to tap into. So yes, it's a different layer of the land, so it's a completely different realm. Yeah.
And thank you for explaining that, Dawn. I'm just wondering if talking about Glastonbury Tor, which is guarded by Gwyn ap Nath, if you've encountered him
Yes, we
at
work
all.
closely.
Mm.
Yeah, so Gwyn is she,
Mm.
is not Fae. He is a different type of magical being that is closer to humans. So the she, or the people of the hills, they are a race that is not evolved out of nature spirits, but came from the stars like humans did. And they don't have a physical body, but their bodies are slightly closer in frequency to the bodies of humans. They have structures, palaces, cities, they have horses they ride on, so that's very different from the Fae, who are a lot more naturey, and they don't have all these constructions. Gwyn, so what I work with Gwyn on is generally healing the wounding between the humans and the she. So unlike the Fae, the humans had a very convoluted history with the she. We used to be in the same frequency, and the she and the humans used to mate together so they can mate. So there'll be like all these stories about the fairy lover and all that. These are she beings
Mhm.
mostly. They're saying there was also stuff like that with the fae, but humans can't mate with the fae, but they can with the she. And there's so much beauty but also pain in our history. And so mainly what I do with Gwyn is that we heal that. He sometimes on our fairy walk, he takes the lead and he leads us to places where we can do work together.
Mm.
And there is a type of initiation, I call it the Avalonian initiation, which is depicted in the Arthurian legends with Arthur and the sword and the Lady of the Lake. So the Lady of the Lake was she, and he received his soul purpose, his integrity, his truth, his inner truth, through that sword, which was. So in the story is a real sword, but in the tradition, it's an energetic construct that the she can give to men. And so many people, I'm just asking for the right words because this is something that is for him to say, to tell, not for me. So I'm just trying to be very honorable and ask what he wants to say about that. So it's mainly about restoring the respect and the veneration that humans had for the She, who are guardians of the land. And in the past, people will make the pilgrimage to Avalon to receive their initiation into their soul purpose, and this will be facilitated by the She. And there was a very important tradition that is called the Triune Alliance of Man, in which humans, She, and Fae work together to align all the realms, and they did co-creative work to create abundance and harmony and alignment and beauty and love in all the realms. So everybody is happy and is healthy, and all the realms work together, in harmony. So that used to be something that was done here in Glastonbury, in Avalon. And so he talks to me about that as well, and how we are starting to reach a time when there's enough humans who are awakened enough to start remembering this work and doing this work again, of meeting with the She and the Fae and doing this work of alignment. So this is what I do with Gwyn. He's of course also representing the masculine of the land. Many times when he comes when there's initiation of men who need to see, men or women, sometimes it's women who he comes, but when it's people who, for them it is important to see and experience the healed masculine or the masculine of the land. So he comes, or sometimes he sends his centaurs. He has centaurs.
Oh,
Many
wonderful.
times they
Mm.
come. Once they came to two ladies who were really scared of men, and they like, no, I'm not gonna be involved with any men anymore. All the men are wounded. And then he sent his centaurs, and they were
Oh,
holding such gallant and honoring masculine, and they were honoring these two ladies as women, as divine feminine, and they could feel how it is to have the healed masculine. So sometimes he sends them, and sometimes he sends them to men to remind them of their inner healed masculine, and empower that within them. So yeah, there's a lot of things that we do together. Sorry, that was a
it's
bit long.
no, it's lovely. It's really good to hear this other side of Gwyn Neath, because in some circles and accounts he is feared. I mean, I know he's quite a powerful being, isn't he?
He is
And
very powerful.
so it's wonderful that he's, this other side of him, that he's working for peace between the realms.
He is.
Mm.
Yeah, we're trying, and he will tell you that as that fierceness is a form of protection, and that protection was very needed in those times when humans trampled over the magic, and so
Mm.
there was a big wounding between the humans and the She. So of course we remember the fierceness because we remember the troubled time, we remember the war times, but we're in
Mm.
different times now, so we're all working to heal.
Yes.
Yeah. So normally, I have to say, in the walks that we do and in all the initiations, normally there is not much of a need for something to happen in the physical. So most of it is energetic. People feel it. And I noticed that things happen in the physical realm only when we're dealing with people who have a very active mind, and they keep second guessing themselves, and they can't really relax or believe what is happening. So they need that physical proof.
Mm.
So there was one lady who we walked, and I could see that she wants to believe, but her mind is not really letting her. And then throughout the walk, we had all these kind of weird occurrences. There was the leaves, the waving leaves. Did you see? Did you
Yes.
encounter that? Of course, there's
Yeah.
no wind at all, and then you
Yeah.
walk next to a tree, and the leaf is doing
Hello.
hello, or all kinds of things that don't
Mm.
make that make sense, but they are kind of miraculous. And
Mm.
I think this is the biggest one. I think is when I was doing this walk with a beautiful man who received an initiation, and the Fae initiated him as the king in the green, the benevolent king, which was his magical self. He's a king of the green beings, and we were going actually through the same fairy lane that I talked about before.
Mhm. Mhm.
And we wanted to go in the gate, and we felt we were very welcome to go in the gate. And as we are stepping through the gate, we both can hear a choir, like ethereal, but mostly women, but also men voices. So
Mhm.
like, but very ethereal, ah, something
Yeah.
very beautiful.
Mm.
And thinking, so I was checking with him that he can hear that too, because it was in the physical. We were really hearing it, not in our inner hearing, in our
Yes.
in our real
Yeah.
hearing.
Mhm.
And so we looked, and we thought maybe there's a choir on the tour, and so somehow the
Mm.
sound drifts down, and so the choir accompanied us to the middle of the lane where he was crowned as the king in the
Oh.
green.
Amazing.
As he was
Oh.
being crowned, and it was like, this is beautiful. It's just like
Oh,
you
wow.
couldn't invent this. It's like, and,
Gosh. What was his reaction to that? I mean, he must be really moved.
he was very moved. He was
Mm.
crying. Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
And then as we came out of the lane, we realized that now we can go through a part of the lane that before we felt was too wounded to go through. And I said, you know what? I'm called there. I'm called to go there again. And I'm called to go there because now you are the king in the green, and now you can heal that part of the land, which before we couldn't. And so we went to that, and it was quite far from the tour. So it's a part of the land that's quite far, and again there was a gate, a real gate.
Mhm.
And we're thinking, okay, what do you feel? And he said, yes, of course, I can bring all of these beings back to health and back to life. And I opened the gate for him, and as he stepped through, there was this choir again.
Oh my gosh.
And we're thinking, well, that's odd because we're now very far from the tour. So even if there was a choir on the tour,
Mm.
we shouldn't be able to hear it now. But he was walking, and I could see like he was just I could see like the flow of energy from his hands, and he was doing that, and wherever he stepped, the plants grew taller and greener and more beautiful, and literally there were butterflies circling around him.
Wow.
And I asked how I walked behind him like his
Mm.
entourage, and
Mm.
he was being himself, which is the king in a green. And I could feel also the relief of the
Mm.
beings, like small beings saying, our king is back. Now there's someone who can take care of us. He was absent before. because this role was not filled. He was not aware of his role, and he was not.
Mm.
And when he stepped into it, there was like a completion, a feeling of, yes, our
Yes.
king is back. The king is back. He's now going to take care of us. Everything is whole again. Everything is in harmony again.
Mm.
There's someone who is taking care that we we thrive, and we are healthy, and that everything is in harmony. So that I asked him, "How do you feel?" And he said, "I feel like I'm in a Disney movie." But
Yeah.
he was handling it. He was stepping into it. He was doing it. He was not. And it always happens because when you feel that resonance of, oh, this is actually me. This is
Mm.
me. This is who I am. So people really, they
Yeah.
they become that. They become this part of themselves. And then what
Yes.
happens sometimes is that we finish the walk and we slowly, 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 slowly go back to human.
Mhm.
And sometimes we need to ground, or sometimes we need to put back our human coats on. Um, and then this is so far, these experiences normally are so far from our normal experience, from our usual worldview,
Mm.
that we forget.
Yes,
We
we
just
do. Mm.
we
Mm.
we think, oh, I went to Glastonbury and there was something really incredible there, but they can't remember details, and they can't
Yeah.
know exactly what happened because it's a bit too much of a dissonance
Mm.
with how we are taught reality is and what we're taught this world is. So, yeah, so sometimes I know many people who come for repeated walks, they
Yeah.
immediately go and journal after. So they write down
Yes.
everything that happened so that later they can remember, because there's so many messages as well, and insight into who they are and what their soul path is, and how to overcome blockages that they have at the moment, and wounding that they're carrying. So there's so much that's happening in a
Mm.
very short span of time. So they normally, now when they're used to me, they're like,
Yes.
okay, we'll just go and journal really quickly before we forget everything.
Yeah, it's powerful stuff.
It is.
And like you say, I mean, I've kept a journal since about 2016, since I decided to commit to this path with fairies, because it kept calling me and I kept coming back and saying, oh no, go and do this. And it's so important to write all this down because, as you say, it is so subtle and so precious
Yeah,
that because of our busy lives, we can so easily just forget it all. And it's nice to go back, read it, and think, oh, actually, yes, that's me. That's why I'm here. There
yeah,
is something else out there that's just amazing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like we don't have space for it in our current culture and
No.
worldview. So yeah, so it's important to write it down and then slowly make more space for it to be
Mm.
real. I think that's the main message that the Fae and the She are trying to bring out, is that the first thing they would like humans to do is to recognize that they are real. That is like, if you could just recognize that the world encompasses us as well, that that is enough. That's
Mm.
so. If we can slowly do that, if we had an experience like this and suddenly we think, oh, so next time I go through the woods, maybe I'm stepping on someone's home.
Mm.
Or maybe I should ask permission, or maybe I should expect to meet some magical beings. So, yeah.
Mm. Thank you, Dawn. It's been wonderful speaking to you, and the time has just flown by as I
Yes,
knew it
it
would.
has.
You'll have to come back on another time.
Yeah, we'll talk about other stuff.
Yeah. And so, how can people work with you? How can people connect with your work and get involved in some of your wonderful walks and other things that you offer?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, at the moment, there's a Facebook page called
Hmm.
the Fairy Human Alliance of Avalon. Avalon is an old name for Avalon, and this is how the Fae call this place. And on that Facebook page, yeah, I advertise, but mainly you can just message me if you're coming to Glastonbury and you want to have a walk together. And I sometimes advertise when we do online work, which can happen because
Hmm.
yeah, it's working. We can do online work, which can involve beings from here and also beings from the place where the other people are living in, so they can send pictures, or we just talk and suddenly there's a connection with different magical beings from the different places. So that's also something that happens. And there's a website in the making. Well, I'll say it's www.earthdaughter.co.uk. So they can. It's yeah. The website is called Touching the New Earth, and there'll be like lots of. When I get to it, there'll be all the different offerings there, so
Mm.
people can connect there
Amazing.
and just send me an email, and I'm happy to walk with them. Yeah.
Fantastic. What's your email address?
So the email is it's just my personal kind of email. So it's
Hmm.
dawn32wl
Hmm.
at
Hmm.
gmail.com.
Okay, I can put those details in the description
Oh yeah.
for
So
this
people can.
episode.
Yay. Good.
People to, yeah, so people can find you. Thank you, Dawn, for your time. It's been wonderful
Oh,
speaking
it's
with
been
you.
really lovely. Thank you
Yeah,
for listening.
yes, and I look forward to visiting Glastonbury again and coming to see you.
Yay.
Yeah,
Go on a walk
yeah,
together. Thank you.
great.
No, can I
Yeah.
just say thank you for all that you do and how important it is that you are bringing this world to people, which is so, so, so beautiful and such an important work right now. Not only because we want to heal that connection, but also because, especially now, people are in such a difficult place,
Yes.
really difficult. And I think that the Fae are really longing to help us, to
Mm.
bring their joy and to bring their beauty and to bring their healing. And they're really, they said, they said to me the other day, we see you, humans, and you were never meant to go through this alone. You were never meant to go through this alone. We're here. The land is here. There is support. So I think the way that you help people connect with them is not only good for the faith, it's also really good for us, for the people.
Oh, well, thank you, Dawn. It's a passion of mine. And yeah, I feel very honoured to do this work. And, like you, I just love introducing people to fairies and who they are and nature in different ways. But the podcast is just a really beautiful way to bring people from all over the world together and maybe people don't even know about fairies or know that people still have encounters with them. And it's interesting you were saying, I just want to pick up what you said about Walt Disney. Like things are like a Disney movie. He was a member of the Fairy Investigation Society.
Was he?
Yeah, when it was
Oh, that's so interesting.
in its old form. So he obviously had a lot of knowledge and insight into people's fairy experiences, and I expect he knew about folklore, he was obviously interested in fairies, so I'm sure that's why when people
It
say,
came through in the
yeah,
old movies, yes, as well. Yeah.
yeah. So when people say, oh, it's like a Disney movie, well, that's because
Yes.
he was channeling that. Yeah.
Same with Tolkien as well, with the
Mm,
elves, with the elven culture, the elven
mm,
society, which is so remarkably similar to Fae and She cultures that
mm.
at least how I experience them, and I'm like, how did he know?
Yeah,
Definitely,
remarkable.
yeah, these people definitely felt that, and
Mm,
probably were in contact with the magical beings.
yeah. Thank you for your work, Dawn, and it's been
Thank
wonderful speaking
you.
to you. And
Thank
have a
you.
lovely evening.
You too, love. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
It's a day that never ends. Hanging in the park here with my friends. It's a time that feels so nice. Just a breeze and a bench in paradise. And I sure hope they gonna leave us this way. 'Cause it's just another beautiful day. Yeah, I sure hope they gonna leave us this way. 'Cause it's just another beautiful day. In the park, it's alright. Dogs bark,